Welcome to the podcast where we fuel our minds with knowledge while sipping on a cup of coffee. I'm your host, Mr. K. Now, before we dive in, let me ask you this question. Like, have you ever felt like you're on top of the world just because you know that Azonto move you've been trying? Or have you ever fallen or tripped in the presence of your crush? Like, he do you before? Well, you are not alone. We all they do you. We all. Let's take a quick coffee break, okay? We'll be right back. Welcome back. Now, in today's episode, we are talking about self-esteem. You see, that magical thing now makes you feel like you're on top of the world. One moment you're on top of the world, the next moment you are like, this thing I did do, RFA. What people say about me. Yeah. Self-esteem is like the Ghanaian weather. See, very unpredictable. But you can manage it with the right tools. So whether you are feeling as high as Okonfanoche or as invincible as a goat in Accra traffic, we have got you covered. Today's episode is for you. Now let's get into the details of the whole issue. Now, according to the American Psychological Association, self-esteem is the degree, to which the qualities and characteristics contained in one's self-concept is perceived to be positive. In simple terms, it is how much you think you rock without needing to show off your skills. Like, you see, there's one uncle who always comes in when I was like you. I was a top dog. I used to do this. Not behaving like that uncle. But the interesting thing is that, according to this same American Psychological Association, it says low self-esteem affects about 85% of the world's population. Like, think about it. Over how many billion people in this world? 85% of them are dealing with self-esteem issues. That's serious. Now, let's go deep into some of the false narratives around self-esteem. Myth number 1. They are saying that if you have high self-esteem, it means that you think you are better than everybody. No, it's a lie. That one is arrogance, that you have sprinkled with some overconfidence crap. You see that thing? It's like that girl who thinks that, among all her friends, she's the nicest. You know how to some way. Now, the myth number 2. Self-esteem, it is fixed. You can't change it. That is a lie. See, self-esteem is like preparing jollof, If you have the right ingredients, you can move it from pacha to hey, So now we have seen some false narratives, Let's talk about what is true about it. See, this podcast here is all about the Those are the things we do here. Truth number 1. You see, self-esteem, it fluctuates. There are some days where you feel like, the whole world, you be the boss. And there are some days where you feel like, Charlie, the whole world, you are shakra. It is normal. It should happen to you. Embrace the me way a sham moments, and then you keep improving on that. Truth number 2. Self-esteem is not all about achievements. It's also about self-compassion and accepting yourself for who you are. Like, you not being able to recite the national anthem. See, no you pay. Then ciao. Let's talk about the things that will shrink your self-esteem. This is where we all can relate. Negative feedback from others. Like, you see that your boss when he did the office, everything you do is not right. Everything you go do, you get complaint. That one can crash your self-esteem from here to you. Now, let's look at another one. Comparisons. And when I said it, the first thing that came into your head, that's one, yes, social media pressure. You see, The things we see online can make us feel like, yeah, we don't reach. But don't forget that, you see, sometimes there won't be settings. There is no truth in there. You can go and borrow from your friend and come and wear and give pressure. And then you will say somewhere and be like, oh, I'm not doing well. That is not true. Now, you can also lose your self-esteem when you fail at something really important. Let's say you have a project to complete. The whole class is looking at you and then you fail. You can bring your self-esteem down from 100 to even a negative. As I'm talking, someone will be like, okay, so how will I know that I'm having low self-esteem? These are the things you will see. They are really common. Negative self-talk. You see, sometimes your brain would bully you and tell you that, this thing, you can't do it. It is not your level. Who do you think you are? Those are the things you hear by yourself. The second thing is difficulty accepting compliments. When someone says, oh, that's a nice shirt, just go like, this old thing, this thing I'll buy from Katamanto. Accept that the shirt is nice. Fear of failure. You see, sometimes you are just scared that I'm far, the best cerebral. And that's where the problem is. Social withdrawal is the fourth thing that will let you see. You think that, no, let me not go into the midst of people, where people will see me and criticize me. Sometimes you also overemphasize on your flaws. See, you have made a mistake, we understand. But don't dwell too much on your mistake. That is also a sign. When you dwell on your little mistakes and think that you are not good enough, you know the signs. You can see the symptoms. How do you get over it and feel like the superstar that you are? 1, practice some self-compassion. See, the way you treat people with compassion, treat yourself like that too. Everybody makes a mistake. Even this podcast that they record stuff, they make mistakes or something. But you see, it shouldn't mean that I should demean myself, okay? The second thing you can do to set achievable goals. The things you can do it and do it well. Don't go setting high standards where you know genuinely you can't reach. I want to buy a car tomorrow. The money in your bank account is 100 cedis. Definitely, if tomorrow comes and you don't get the money, you are definitely going to feel bad about yourself. Positive affirmations. Write things on the wall. Talk to yourself. Tell yourself that you are good enough. I am the best at what I do. And live the things you write. Surround yourself with positive people. See, surround yourself with people who would encourage you. Hey, boss, we do force. Those are the people that will bring your morale high. Not people who will be like, this thing you do, sharp. You go do this thing. Those things would bring you down. Avoid comparisons. See, don't compare yourself with anybody. We are all running in our own tracks. Once you do that, you would bring down your confidence. Now, I want to conclude and tell you something. You see, self-esteem is not about being perfect. It is about accepting yourself and you loving yourself. It is not a destination. No, it's a journey, okay? It's all about a small efforts, patience, and a lot of self-love. You can build a strong, positive sense of self-worth. Put your heart to it and do it. That's all for today's episode of Coffee and Info with me, Mr. K. Remember that you are more than enough, okay? Don't forget to subscribe. Leave a review. And then share to that your friend that has problem with self-esteem. Maybe you will use this thing to build in confidence, okay? Now until next time, when life gives you lemons, try your best.